Hi there, and welcome back to Hope Regained. I'm your host, Christiane Boudreau, and today's topic that we're going to cover is the importance of fun in your life. It's very important. It's the way we stay happy. It's the way we get excited about getting up in the morning. It's the way we look forward to something. So, what can we do to put more fun into our lives? First off, we have to know, what is it? What does it mean to you when somebody says fun? It can be a wild range of different things for just about anybody. But it's an integral part. So let's have a look at it. When was the last time you remember having fun? Truly smiling and laughing. I remember just last week I was at a concert and it was one that was full of entertainment. I was smiling so hard, my cheeks were aching. It lifted up my spirit. You recognize what the feelings were when you went in or before you started whatever activity it was, and the feelings that it was giving you during. And then you can really look at, what is it that really makes it fun for me? Think about things that you've done in your past. Think about things that maybe you've just dreamt about doing or that you got excited about when you've heard it. What were you doing? What makes you smile? And it can be something really simple. A warm bath, bubbles, alone, watching a movie, smiling at that, reading a great book. What makes you smile? Do you remember that mood? Was it just happiness, laughter, fun? What was the mood while you were experiencing your fun? And have you paid attention to what activities actually give you joy? True joy, that feeling inside your stomach where you get butterflies or anything along those lines. That can start our list for fun. And once we start that list, it gets so much easier to pay attention to it and how we can incorporate it. Well, a lot of people say, fun, I don't have time for that. But there are benefits, and there's a reason why we have to take that time. It's important. It's something we need to make out for ourselves. It recharges your batteries. It gives you more energy. You become more productive when you have more energy. So maybe you don't have time, you say, but throughout the day, if you stop and take that time for that fun, you don't need as much time to accomplish those things you really don't want to do, those ugly tasks, adulting tasks. It can shift your mindset from negative to positive. If you're having a bad day, something fun with a little giggle, it doesn't even have to be much, 10 minutes, a little clip on comedy. That can shift you from a negative mindset to a positive mindset. You owe that to yourself. It can clear your mind from problems. When you get too focused in those problems, you can't get creative to solve them. Sometimes you need to step outside and have a little bit of fun, and it just washes away long enough for those solutions to pop in. So it's a very important part of solving everyday problems. It makes your life feel like it's worth living. It increases your resilience and purpose. Look, we all need a little bit of fun now and then. And if you feel excited and you feel like today was worth it because you smiled, you laughed, isn't that worth it? And the resilience that it builds up in yourself, it means you can handle those more difficult challenges that come up in your life every day. You can't control some of the outside world. We've talked about that before. We're not in control of it at all. We are in control of what's within. And having fun gives us that buildup of resilience to deal with all the outside yuck. And it contributes to good physical health. Laughing really hard, a belly laugh, hey, it exercises those muscles. It's mentally clears us. It relieves stress and anxiety. So reduced stress and anxiety helps with blood pressure and loads of other illnesses that could creep up. So that's a good way to get rid of it. If we're going through tough medical illnesses, having a good laugh now and then could help us physically feel better, even if it's just for a short period of time. It's so important. It's fantastic. It releases endorphins, natural endorphins, without having to use medication. Yes, if you're clinically depressed or doctors prescribed it, that's important to listen to their advice as well. But hey, it doesn't hurt to have a little bit of natural endorphins released. So you start building up your own. And it's also been known to give us better sleep. When you laugh and you smile and you have fun, it helps at the nighttime when you have to lay down, rest, put your head down, clear that mind. Gives you something to reflect back on that was a good memory instead of passing all the troubles and everything else in your mind racing through. It gives that calm and quiet. It's a separation. So, what's blocking you from enjoying yourself? Do you consider it a luxury instead of a necessity? A lot of people say, oh, I don't have the luxury of that time. No, it's not a luxury. It's a necessity. It's a part of being human. It's what we're made for. We're made to love, laugh, smile. Yes, we can't control some of the mundane things that come along or the more difficult. But if you build up the buffer that you can handle those loads better, then wouldn't you call that a necessity rather than a luxury? Speaking of luxuries, a lot of people say, oh, I can't afford it. Well, that makes me think. If you look at fun as something that costs money, maybe you need to look again. Not everything costs money. Yeah, if you want to go for an expensive cruise, that might mean saving up some cash or finding a second job to have that extra money or whatever it takes. If that's on your bucket list, go ahead. Set that on your dream board and set the goals and the milestones to get there. But that's on a bigger scale. Let's look at smaller scale. That could be a matter of walking in the woods, a nature trail, fresh air. That doesn't cost us a cent. All you have to do is take the time and walk out that door. Hugging your child or grandchild, that's fun. That's a sense of love. That fulfills us up with a smile. That doesn't cost 1 cent. So that could be considered fun. Reading a book. Hey, we all have books, or if you don't, a library doesn't cost a cent. If you take a trip into a library, you can get a couple of books, funny books, and that can bring a smile. That can be fun. It all depends what you enjoy. It's about making up that list, having a look at what you can afford. Don't stress out about the money piece. Focus more on what you can do for today. It's all about what's in your power and control today. Make that time, whether it be 5-10 minutes. I'm sure you can find it. We all can if we want to make that commitment to ourselves. You deserve to take that time. We talk about it a lot. Everybody, that's their first block. It's always the time factor, money factor. But time is something, it's relative. And if you make that time and commitment to yourself, then you can find it to laugh. I know sometimes all I do is put on a quick comedy clip. It can be 2 minutes, 3 minutes, enough to get a belly laugh. If I'm working on something difficult and I can't concentrate anymore, I've just focused so much that I'm drained. 5 minutes, turn on a little comedy clip, have a good giggle, release some endorphins, and all of a sudden, that task is not so daunting. And friendships, they're important too. Spending time with friends can be fun. If they're not, maybe you need to relook at those friendships and relationships. That's on another topic. But taking that time doesn't need to be a whole lot. It doesn't need to be a full day. It doesn't need to be a full hour. But making that commitment for yourself is key. If you say, oh, I'm just too tired at the end of the day. I don't have the energy anymore. I can't have fun. Well, I beg to differ because that fun is going to recharge you. And again, watching a video clip doesn't take a whole lot of energy. It's just a remote button or on your phone sometimes. Hey, we all play a lot on our screens. Look at something that's fun, interesting. A walk. Yes, you could be just exhausted, but I can guarantee you, if you take 2 or 3 minutes, just a quick jaunt, you'll feel energized. And that's fun. The feeling you get can be fun. Just a little bit every day. It doesn't take much. Then you could say, taking that time to myself will make me feel selfish or guilty. Why? You need to commit to you. You can't be anything to anybody else unless you can commit to you first. How is that selfish? If you want to be able to give more to others and those that you love, you have to learn to give to yourself. That's not selfish at all. That's being responsible. Nothing wrong with that. And the guilt, well, we keep talking about the baseball bat. Put it away again. You don't need to keep hitting yourself over the head with it. That guilt is coming from somewhere else. And we really need to dig deeper to figure out why that keeps popping up in your mind when you take that little bit of time to you. You need that time. It's about the self-commitment. We keep focusing on it because it's so important. Others say, oh, I get judged by others if I take that time. They're expecting me here. They're expecting me there. Well, others don't need to know when you take that 5-10 minutes necessarily. Or you need to set boundaries in place. And that's another episode. Boundaries are very important. If they give judgment, that's on them. You can only control you and not others' reactions. So make it a focus point to have some fun. If you need ways to do it and more ideas, maybe you haven't thought about it. You're blocked, just like writer's block. How do I start? Where do I go from here? It doesn't have to cost a lot, so you can put those negativities aside. We can make a list. So why don't we sit down today, make a list of things that we consider fun, that we've done before, that we know we enjoy, that makes us smile. In that same list at the bottom, we could start putting down things we'd like to try. Doesn't mean that you'll enjoy it when you do try it. Hey, but push those boundaries a bit. Step outside your comfort zone. Give it a shot. Things that you thought about, but put it aside, maybe we're afraid. Now's the time to do it. Just look for new things. The internet, it's at your fingertips. You can find all kinds of ideas. You can ask around. Sometimes it's a matter of just joining a group. Find a group that you connect with that has interests similar to yours. And those people may introduce you to new hobbies, anything. It can be painting. If you're not a good artist like me, my favorite thing is stick people. You can look at paint by numbers. I know I cheat that way, but I find it relaxing and I go into a zone of calm. For me, that is fun. I go out with friends. Sometimes we're not going out for dinner. Sometimes we're just sitting in a group playing cards. Doesn't take a whole lot to say, hey guys, when do you have a free time? When do you have a free moment? Throw it on the calendar. Invite people over. When you go for those walks, go out with friends. Talk about happy things. Laugh at great memories. That can be fun. Pick up a new hobby. On YouTube, Pinterest, you can find all kinds of new things to learn. Crochet, knitting, cooking. I know I love to cook. And it can be fun when you do it with people that you enjoy. It can be funny too. I could tell you some stories about making cookies with a friend of mine who, not really a baker or a cook. I'm not really sure who was making the cookies most. And it was a lesson. And she wrote down the notes, and at the end of the day left the notes behind. We did consume a bottle of wine, laughed a lot, had flour all over the kitchen. It was so much fun. And guess what? I'm still the one that makes the cookies. I don't think I've ever seen any cookies from her, even after that. But it was fun. You can turn on some music. I know when I'm doing things that I'm not really happy about doing, sometimes I just turn on some energetic music. Stuff that brings back memories of my younger days when everything was carefree, usually teenage years or young adolescence. And turn on that music brings back those memories. And you could just let loose and dance like nobody's watching. And I know there's a song like that, but it's true. Just let it all out. Have some fun. If that means cleaning the house, you've got a mop in your hand, vacuum, and you've got that music, it makes it a little bit more fun, a lot less of a chore. So there's a twist. You're getting two things done all in one. Multitasking. It works. There are other things that you could do. Spending time again with family, friends, loved ones, smiling, laughing, joining groups, going out, traveling. Yeah, it costs money, but a little weekend trip, camping trip, not that expensive. And you could save up the money just to explore. Learn something. That's another thing. You can learn a different language. That can be fun. It could be a challenge. You can celebrate each time you hit a new goal. There's so many apps out there. They're free. Give it a try. It might be something that you celebrate for yourself. You can use any information on websites. You could talk to friends. You could find anything new. All I ask is that you commit to you. The best thing to do if you have a bad habit of not taking that time to give that self-awareness to find it is add it to a calendar for yourself. So for this week, in this episode, we'll start with the journal. In your journal, write down what's fun for you. Try to remember things that you enjoyed. Give it a try again. Maybe it was something when you were a kid and you can do the adult version. Or maybe it's something you just haven't done in a long time and you need to get a new spark in it. Give it another try. Write down things that you like to try. Look up for resources on the web. Talk to people. On that same side, write down the feelings, the emotions that each thing gives you. Recognize maybe what your mood was before you started the activity, how you felt during, and how you felt afterwards, the lasting effects. To recognize and get the self-awareness of how it changed that headspace for the day. That's an important piece in the journal. At the end of each day, we journal anyway. That is our new commitment to ourselves when we can. Don't beat yourself up if you don't do it for the day. And we'll try to recognize the emotions, the mood, our mindset. We'll get to know ourselves better that way. And in our self-commitment workbook, in part of our lists and schedules, checklists, everything else that we're going to build, part of that will be our calendar. And if you can put down at least one day a week, block it out. If you block it out in a calendar, you will more likely stick to it. You've made that commitment. Just like if you've committed to a friend to do something and you write it down, are you going to let them down? Are you going to say, no, sorry, can't make it? unless there's a legitimate reason. Then you just move it to another date, reschedule. But don't do it too often. You're going to make that commitment to a friend. You should be making that commitment to yourself first. So today I ask you to make that commitment to yourself. Let's start on a new track of positivity and see what changes it has in our lives and the effects and how much better it makes us look forward to tomorrow. I say today, if you want any of the resources we have in our journal and workbook for you on www.hoperegained, have a look there to give you some ideas and how to follow along as we go in this journey of rediscovering our love for life. I hope you look for us on our podcast, on all the podcast platforms, the ones that you listen to. You can share this, you can like and subscribe, or reach out and let us know how we're doing or any ideas you might have. Have an awesome day.